Welcome to week 3, which is all about program development, and really we're going to be starting to develop your proposal this week. So the last couple weeks we've been focusing on organizations and really getting to know an organization, from the mission, the vision, what the programs are, the design of the organization, the staff, how they relate to other organizations in the community, and what the unmet needs are. And so now you're going to build upon that and identify one of those unmet needs. And this week we will be developing a statement of need, program, goals and objectives, and then developing a logic model, which may be new for some of you. For some others of you, you may have been already creating logic models in the organizations that you work at. But either way, it's such a great tool. So I'm excited that that is going to be something that you're turning in this week. So let's quickly go over the readings for this week. There's just 2, and then a number of resources and websites for you to explore around grants again. So for this week, I want you to read the Kettner chapter. I believe it's chapter 8. On planning, designing, and tracking an intervention. And then the Randolph reading, which there's a link right here, on school-based mentoring programs, which would just be a great example and a review of research that's been done in that area. And again, the objectives for this week, we just went over them, but you're going to be describing the process of program development, articulating the components of a grant proposal, and then developing a logic model. So I'm going to go through the first week's discussion, which is pretty lengthy. Before I do that, I just also want to highlight that this week, from week 3 to week 5, you are going to be working with the same dyad partner, or triad really. I've put you guys in groups this week. They are different than the groups that you've been in for weeks 1 and 2. For weeks 3, 4, and 5, each week you're going to be giving each of your partners, rather than just one, feedback on their proposal components. And so we're going to be building each week. Whoops. So let me jump into the first discussion forum, which is part 1 of your proposal. So there are a lot of details here. The first being, please read chapters 15 of the Brody and Nair book and chapter 8 of Kettner, which are going to be really helpful for this assignment. There is a template here, a Word document, that I want you to use in developing the statement of need, the goals and objectives, and the logic model. So I am going to jump to this template. This is the template that you're going to upload for your initial prompt. So I have it downloaded. Here we go. So you're just going to fill in this Word document and you're going to upload it for your initial prompt. So as you're thinking about that, you all by now have chosen the organization that you're going to focus on. And like I said, in week 2, you identified 3 unmet needs or unaddressed problems. For this part 1 of the proposal, I want you to choose one of those unmet needs and identify either a change to an existing program or a new program that you would want to develop in the organization to address that unmet need. And I want you to remember that this program change that you are initiating does not need to be expansive or expensive. It can be a pilot program. It can be something that you're testing before you scale it up, which is ideal when you have the resources to be able to do that. And just make sure that the proposed program is clearly linked to the unmet need. And so if you have questions about that or want to run it by me, please do send me an email. So this proposed template has 3 sections. You're going to fill out all 3 sections. For the statement of need, refer to chapter 15 in the Brody and Nair book. And you have 1 paragraph where I want you to summarize the need. This is really identifying what the need is or the condition and the problem, what does your organization want to change, who's going to be served by those changes, and who's going to benefit. The next 2 to 4 paragraphs will be around building the empirical evidence. So talking about how this condition began, where did it begin, what are the causes, what are the characteristics of those who can be defined as having this so-called condition, the number of people that are affected, and so on and so forth. So this is really digging in a bit. And then the last 1 to 3 paragraphs should be around the organizational context. So what makes the agency a good choice for being able to support this proposed solution that you're writing up? And you can talk about other approaches that have been used to address this program to date, and then also include any material, supporting material from your organizational capacity assessment. The statement of need, you don't want to over dramatize the case, but you definitely want to address how immediate the need is. Because otherwise, why else would you be asking for funding, right? And funding is always a competitive kind of area where there's lots of needs and lots of organizations going after the same sources of funding. You also, if possible, want to indicate how the community or the clients have been involved in defining the problem or recommending these kinds of responses. And then, if possible, describe how the program might even be able to be replicated in other areas. For the goals and objectives section, again, you're going to be referring to chapter 15. And I want you to identify a minimum of 2 program goals and then 2 objectives per goal. Again, goals and objectives, please read the chapter before drafting these, and if you have questions about that, then be in touch with me. The last section, you will be referring to the Kettner book, chapter 8, to develop a logic model for this proposed program, and this is really going to allow you to look at, from beginning to end, what is required to have this new program and change be successful. What are the inputs? What are the outputs? What are the activities that would be happening? And what are the ultimate objectives and outcomes? And so you're going to fill that in here. So that's a pretty lofty post for your initial post that's due on Thursday. So please do start now. Start thinking about that and drafting it. And as you draft one section, you might start, and you get to the third section, you might be going back up to revise what you've done in the first 2 sections. For your response post, again, you're going to be working in small groups for the most part. I want you to respond to each person. So now if you have 2 other members of your group, I should see 2 responses to each of your peers on their statements of need, their goals and objectives, and their logic model sections. So I want you to provide a critique in your response post. Assume the role of a funder or an agency representative, and I want you to consider if the sections being turned in by your peer is adequate for receiving a grant. What are the areas that might sound a little weak or need some beefing up to? And the rubrics that I've provided here are going to give you a good guideline to follow. So your initial post, again, is due by Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Your response posts should be posted between Friday and Sunday, but no later than Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Your second post. So this is an exercise in identifying prospective funders. So for your initial post prompt, the purpose of the activity is to get you to thinking about, searching for grant funders who may be interested in this. So use suggested keywords I've provided here, but you can certainly use your own. The funding opportunities that you find don't necessarily have to be current, but that is preferable. However, if you find something that just ended or is recent, that's okay to use. So I want you to name and describe the grant or the other funding opportunity that you found, why you chose this particular funder, why they fit with your program proposal, and reflect on the activity itself of doing the search. Has it been easy? Has it been difficult? Was it hard to find potential funders, or was it not clear from the websites? What issues did you run into during your search? These questions that I'm asking you to answer are exactly what you would have to answer for a grant proposal. Why are you applying for this particular grant? How does it relate to your, or fit with your program proposal? More specifically, how does our mission and vision as a granting organization fit with the mission and vision of your program proposal? So again, these assignments in this course are extremely relevant and timely. So I hope that they are helpful in thinking about what you would need to do. And the rubrics are right here for the discussion post. So I do suggest that you look over them, and after you've posted, just review them again, because you can always make edits. All right. And then just in regards to assignments, you are working in week 3 on this draft program proposal part 1. The revised version is going to be due and submitted for actual grading in week 4, next week. So again, if you have questions as you are reading this material, or you have questions as you're working on your discussion posts and assignments, please be in touch with me, and I'm happy to answer your questions and work with you so that you have clarity moving forward. Thanks so much, and talk to you soon.